Hello everyone, my name is Lena and I work as a project officer in the Multicultural Communities Council. Welcome to our second series of Food from Our Homeland cooking shows, which MCCSA is doing in conjunction with Wellbeing SA. I have Isabella here with me, and Isabella, the floor is yours.
Okay, hello everybody, I'm Isabella. I'm obviously Italian. my accent doesn't lie. And I work also at MCC with Lena. I'm as well a project officer, and today we're gonna do polenta.
Polenta, one of my favorite dishes in the world.
Well, certainly is very inexpensive and can be very easy, versatile, and I mean, you can use whatever you have at home and make it warm. I mean, it's a wintry dish. So today we'll do polenta with sausages, and we accompany with a rocket salad. We start putting some water to boil.
Yes. How much water do you have there?
We have 2 liters, but each polenta is different, so it depends on the grain or the quality. So in Italy we have big grains polenta that you need 45 minutes to cook.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's that's why women from Milan have a very strong arm.
Can I just say, don't go to the gym, cook polenta.
But this one is more fine, so read always the instruction. This one will take like few minutes after water is boiling. So for this polenta we use 2 liters for half kilo of polenta. But really, it depends on the quality, so read the instruction and then blame the instruction if it's not coming good. While this one is boiling, we can start to chop an onion to prepare the salsiccia sauce.
Would you like me to chop the onions? Or
you can.
I can stand here and look pretty. I can do that very well.
No, if you want, you can cut the sausage. So
how thick do you want?
Like pieces like this.
That's such.
So we have half a kilo of pork sausage, but really polenta is like pasta, is like ugali, is like bread, it's just a carb, so you can accompany it with whatever you have in the fridge. So now we use pork sausage, but can be beef stew, can be veggies, even tofu if you want to. The only thing that polenta is not very, it's a little dry, it's not very creamy, so I wouldn't eat it together with something drier, like a, I don't know, chicken breast. Or so it's better to have some juice, some sauce, some tomato. So sometimes what they used to do is they don't have any sausage, any protein to put together. You just melt some butter in it or some parmesan on top. You melt it together, you mix it, and you make a dish by its own. So really, whatever you have, whatever you can do, goes good with polenta.
So Isabella, you come from Milan?
I do. It's a beautiful country. Everybody wants to visit Italy at least once.
Yes.
When the sun starts to go down after 5 when it's allowed. We have aperitivo.
Oh, what's aperitivo?
What's aperitivo? It's like it's the ultimate, the superior version of happy hour. Like after office time, like 5 to 7 or 5 to 6. There's a moment of the day in which cocktails are cheaper, or beer or wine is cheaper, and also they serve you finger foods. So you have bars like this, fill up with pizza, pasta, or any kind of Italian finger food, and while you buy a drink, the food is for free. So it's very, very convenient and nice. Okay, now I chopped the onion. Now, because the sausage has some fat already, we put just a little bit of olive oil so that the onion doesn't burn, but just a little bit, and then the sausage will release the other fat, and we won't need any additional oil. So I use a wooden spoon, and I let it brownish a little. So instead of waiting and do nothing, we can start preparing the salad, because this will take a couple of minutes. But we can wash the rocket. So we have some rocket, like 80 grams.
I better get this recipe. First time I cooked my polenta, it didn't turn out well. So I'm hoping by the end of today, I can nail the polenta for my next guest.
And we leave it to dry a little bit. So the salad is a very simple one. It's rocket with apple and walnuts. And then the dressing will be made of lemon, mustard, and a little bit of olive oil.
Sounds delicious. Is it something you do, like, is it an Italian salad?
Yeah. It is. Oh, it's starting. So we can talk a little bit about polenta.
Yes.
Polenta is very from the northern part of Italy. In the south they have wheat. That's why pasta, pizza, They're more from the south. In the north, we cannot grow a lot of wheat. We grow rice, we grow corn. That's why in the north we cook the risotto. We are famous for risotto. We are famous for polenta, gnocchi. So Lena, did you like Italy when you came?
I love Italy very much. It's my second country, I would say. Maybe I should say third one now. This is before I moved to Australia. I had like very close ties with Italy.
Okay, now it's time for polenta. So we have 1/2 kilo. To avoid they become chunky and sticky, you can put a little bit of olive oil, like a teaspoon. Done. And then you put your polenta in. So you have to put a little bit at a time. And you can start mixing with that. In the meantime, Lena is doing the sausage.
Yes, ma'am.
Lena, do the sausage.
How would you say do the sausage in Italian? How would you say do
Butta la salsiccia, butta la salsiccia, throw the sausage.
It's not that easy to say.
No. Okay. Now all the polenta is in. This is a very quick one. It will start to bubble very soon. Once you have all smooth, you can change and use a wooden spoon.
Do I have to constantly stir this, or it's fine to leave?
No, it's okay. You can leave it a couple of minutes like this, and then when it's halfway through, we're gonna put the secret ingredient. Okay, here we're mixing the polenta. This is becoming very creamy soon. So it's not a 45 minutes polenta.
It looks very creamy and delicious.
Yeah, this is already done, I would say, because it was a very fine polenta. So we can switch this side off. No, the good of polenta is that if you don't eat it all, you can recycle it in many different ways. So I made some polenta yesterday to show you how it becomes solid the next day. Ta-da!
Wow, it looks like a cake.
A brick of polenta. Now with this brick of polenta, I mean, this is solid because it was made yesterday. But you can do a lot of things. For example, it's very easy to cut like this. So you see that stay compact. My God, this is very compact. Stay compact and solid. And this you can fry in the pan, or you can put in the oven and make the crouton. Okay, now this is becoming almost brownish.
Yeah.
Still a minute more. And really, this can be anything. Can be. My mother used to do it with a beef stew. So beef stew with polenta, or mushroom is very popular. Okay, now it's almost done.
Yeah.
Let's put the not secret ingredient, which is white wine. So we cook a lot with wine in Italy. Okay.
So I just add the apple to the
Yeah,
salad?
please. On top.
Yeah.
So here we have rocket, one red apple that Lena washed. I washed.
Kindly washed.
Kindly sliced. Now, Lena, if you want to prepare the dressing.
Okay, how do I prepare the dressing?
So you have one lemon, the juice of one lemon.
So what else do I add to this?
Mustard, one teaspoon.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this becomes to
Olive oil.
olive oil. Yeah, a couple of spoons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we mix all together. Now the sausage starts to be very juicy. We put some sage, but you can put whatever you prefer, rosemary, or sage or rosemary are the favorite. Depends what you're cooking. If you are doing mushroom, can be parsley, pepper.
Do you chop up or you leave it like that? Are you going to take out sage?
I can leave it like that.
The reason I'm asking, I didn't know sage was a very strong herb, and I decided to make an omelette with lots of sage.
It can be very powerful.
It was.
So if you leave it the whole leaf, then you can take it. I mean, you can not eat it.
Yeah.
You can just put it aside in the dish or take it out if you want to. You can put black pepper, white pepper. It really depends on your taste and what you prefer and what you're cooking. Yeah.
Should I add the walnuts to the salad?
To the salad, yes. Yeah. So we put some walnuts on top, a bit of pepper.
Yeah. I'll just whisk this together.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we just put on top.
Yeah.
Wow. I love salads. So we finish with a little bit of parmesan on top.
I love
The Parmesan is already salt itself, so you don't have to add any other salt to the salad. Now, here the sausage is very juicy and it almost cooked through, so we can put the tomato. I like the whole peel tomato. Again, you can use whatever you prefer. You can use the paste, you can use the diced. This is more from my childhood. We always had only peeled tomato in Italy, pelato, which means bold actually, bold tomato. Okay, thank you. Just put the tomato in. Hey, Karen.
Hello, Isabella. This is the type of food that I love. Italy is one of those countries where they eat locally. The food that grows in the area is what makes up their cuisine, and this is a really good example of that today.
Yeah, it's a very traditional farmer dish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and did you know that the polenta is very high in protein and fibre? Because I heard you talk about it being a carbohydrate. So it is a carbohydrate, but it also has quite a bit of protein in it. So it is a good food. So the fibre in the polenta and in the beautiful ingredients in your salad helps to take away the plaque that grows inside your arteries, reduce your cholesterol, keeps your heart healthy. And they come from that beautiful part of the world in the Mediterranean basin, where the foods that they draw from, and the countries vary in their foods, but they have a lot of fresh fruit and vegetables, the olive oil, the nuts, and today you've used walnuts, which if you look at a walnut, when you take it out of the shell, what does it look like? It looks like the brain, and it's interesting because it's actually very good for your brain, full of omega-3s. It's one of the highest plant foods that have that quantity of omega-3 in, so it's an excellent nut to have in your diet. So it was great to see that in your salad today, along with the rocket.
We love
so
rocket.
the rocket, yes, and the rocket is I noticed you've used a small leaf rocket, and I grow in my garden a bigger leaf rocket. But they all taste very similar. They're a lovely bitter, peppery flavour. So the bitter greens are incredibly good in your diet, and a lot of those countries all have their own bitter greens. And they often grow wild by the roadside out in the country. Do you remember that in Italy?
Yeah.
And do you remember the other types of bitter greens that you had?
In Italy, I don't know the name in English, but it's like, it has a yellow flower.
Is it dandelion?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We chop it and we use it in soup.
Yes. And the endive?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
use
the
endive.
radicchio. And you say that much better than I do. And of course we've got spinach and kale, which is very common in Australia, but those plants are now quite readily available here. The dandelion, not so easy to get, but some people now can just grow that in a pot at home and use the leaves. So they're so good for you, but those bitter plants, or bitter greens we call them, they're a good thing to have in your diet. And they're also very high in prebiotics, which are great for those little hungry gut bacteria that need to be fed regularly to keep your body nice and healthy.
Okay, good.
So all good things so far. So tick, tick, tick.
I didn't know.
No, I know. So we make a simple meal, but we don't really think about what is in the meal and what it does to our body. But over time, cultures like the Italian culture have worked out what keeps you healthy. Yeah. Without really understanding the reasons behind it all, but they all work together and they help keep you very strong and healthy and keep away those diseases that are so common now, like diabetes type 2 and obesity and high blood pressure and things like that. Yeah. Now, your sausages today are a pork sausage.
They were pork,
which I think is quite popular in Italy.
It's an animal that is very well used in the north especially, but every family used to have one pork in the family that once a year got slaughtered and made all kind of meat cuts out. So in Italian we say, if you say you're like a pork, means that every part of you is useful, that nothing of you got thrown away.
Yes.
Yeah, so we say useful like a pork.
Yes, that's very true, and so I know it's a very big occasion when they do that and then prepare all the different cuts. So with those sausages, they're a great meat to add to dishes, but you can use any variety really. You could use chicken or turkey or a vegetarian sausage or
Absolutely.
if people would like. or a vegan sausage, and I think you've added that into your recipe, so that's handy to know. So
Yes.
you could make it a vegetarian, vegan, or just with meat. I'm not sure about a fish sausage. I don't know how that would go, or
not
prawns or something
traditionally.
like. Not traditionally.
No, but for example, I would imagine a tofu better, like a
Yes.
tofu stew could be.
Okay, a
Yeah, no-
tofu stew.
Yeah, why
Oh.
not? Yeah.
So somebody could have that as well.
Yeah.
So it's very versatile.
Yeah. Or even only veggies, like a
Yes,
veggie
the
stew.
veggies, yes.
Zucchini, aubergine, capsicum,
Yes.
onion, carrot.
Yes, yes, all those lovely vegetables that come from the Mediterranean. I'm old enough to still remember when capsicums and zucchinis first came to Australia.
Really?
They weren't here forever like people imagine. And eggplants, yes, in the 1980s and early 80s and late 70s, those foods started to come on the market. So
Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
and I can still remember in my childhood when I first smelt garlic cooking
Really?
with an Italian family that moved down the street. So we're very lucky to have all these lovely cultures that have come to Australia to enrich our food culture. I'm really looking forward to trying your dish.
Yeah, this is almost ready as well. Maybe a couple of minutes more to reduce a little bit more. And then we put on the plate. Okay, now the tomato and sausage is cooked for 10 more minutes around. The tomato become very juicy together with the sausage and the blend all
Blend it
together.
well together,
Yeah, they
yes.
blend it well together. So now we prepare the dish. You can please put some salad here
Yeah.
while I put the polenta and the meat. So
Can I volunteer for tasting?
Yeah,
myself?
sure.
Just make sure to get me
Yes.
first.
So the polenta is still very hot. We put a big scoop in the middle. Don't fail. Okay. Don't embarrass me now.
Last minute.
Don't give up on me.
We were good friends.
And if you want, what we used to do is a big depression in the middle of the polenta so that you can put the sauce just on top in the middle like this.
Bellissimo.
Bellissimo. Now this will be enough for a family of 4. Ecco qua, like this. Ta-da!
Mwah.
Look, red, green, white, like Italian flag.
Italian flag. Isabella, this looks great and I can't wait to taste it.
Oh, you just took the sage leaf. Be careful. Careful. Are you running away? Let me know. Like, is it what? How it is? Makes you happy?
You're definitely a good cook,
Okay,
Isabella.
then. If it makes you happy, then it's a successful dish.
All cultures, regardless of where we come from, tend to use more salt in our cooking. To reduce salt in your food, it's a good thing to do it gradually. It's a bit like reducing caffeine as well as sugar. It's very hard to go cold turkey, so a little bit at a time. If you base your meals on as many fresh foods as possible, you'll find that you will avoid a lot of salt in your diet because 75% of the salt in the Australian diet comes from processed food. The reason that there is such high concern for salt, it's linked with hypertension or high blood pressure that I'm sure everyone has heard of. High blood pressure is directly linked to cardiovascular disease and to stroke. Consider other ways to bring flavour into your dish if you feel that the dish is not tasty enough. Think of your curry spices, your fresh herbs, dried herbs, to really bring out the flavour in your dish. And you'll see some of these examples in the recipes today with people using fresh rosemary and sage, garlic, the sweetness of onions cooked down slowly to add flavour to your dish. And all of these things will help give you the road to a better health.